Hi, John. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I wanted to welcome everyone here because we are doing a video blog, and I asked you to join me today because I'm looking to learn more about videography for weddings because I've noticed that a lot of the couples that we've had at our weddings are foregoing the videographer, and I think that that's a real miss on their part because I'm hearing later, oh, I wish I had done a videographer. And so I was curious, why do you think couples are passing on that?
Largely, I think it's budgetary concerns. Some of them also just don't see the value right off the bat. Their mind goes to, photos first, and then if there's any money left over, maybe we can do video. I mean, while it is increasingly common these days, still only one in three brides actually get a videographer for their wedding, which is fascinating to me because they're missing so much. Photos are great, but they only tell a fraction of the story.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I have, I got married over 27 years ago, and we have a video, and it's one of our favorite things to look back on with our family. They think it's hysterical to see us in motion and laughing and dancing and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff that we did back in the day. That's a little different than they do now.
Yeah, you get to show your kids, how you fell in love in the first place, which is amazing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I wish they would consider that as in their planning because sometimes I hear them say, "Oh, yeah, we didn't do it because so many people have their iPhones and they're going to be getting the candid
Mhm.
content and they're going to video it." As a professional videographer, what's the value of that over candid content from Uncle John doing the video on his phone?
Quality. The biggest thing is quality. Having a professional videographer out there allows you to tell a more complete story, and miss moments that photos just can't capture.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. And I mean, the value comes with the experience, obviously, of a professional photographer, videographer like you, as well as all the equipment that you have to buy to do it. And then I think people don't realize, Uncle John's going to take that video and maybe he'll, use an iPhone to edit it or something like that. But you spend hours and hours and hours after
Right.
video is captured to create a story.
It can take at least a month to 3 months, depending on workload. But it just gives me the time to create a more thoughtful and compelling story. My goal is
Yeah,
to kind of, I don't want to say make the bride cry, but I want to create an emotional, impactful story that resonates with the bride and groom.
yeah. And they'll have that forever. And that's not easily done on a phone or, just, by someone who's not a professional. You need the equipment to actually do the editing as well as the videography.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become get into videography and wedding videography?
I initially started doing real estate videos in Dallas. I had a friend who knew I was into video, and her mom was one of the top real estate agents there. And she kind of texted me one day and was like, "Hey, you want to film my mom's listing? Give it a shot. We'll pay you." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it for $100." And today obviously I charge much more, but that's kind of how it got the ball rolling. And I kind of just started expressing an interest and reaching out to local videographers saying, "Hey, can I come second shoot you? Can I shadow you?" And I had a lot of fun doing that. And I was like, "Okay, let me give this a shot." And I did. I filmed a couple's wedding in Denton, Texas. That was my first one. And I had a great time, and I realized that, I enjoy doing this, but real estate kind of ended up taking over. I got more successful with that. But so I focused on luxury real estate the last 4 years, and then I filmed my best friend's wedding in Kentucky in May, and I had a blast. And I was like, I realized, okay, all right, I still got this. I can still do this after such a long break in between weddings. So that's why I'm trying to get back into it. Yeah, and just tell amazing and powerful love stories.
Yeah, it sounds like that. You're more passionate about that, the love story that a wedding is, that allows you to, that's why you want to go into this more because it's really more of your passion
Right,
than property photography.
right, right.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
yeah,
Awesome. Well, tell me, since it is your passion, tell me what your favorite moment that you captured on video is.
I'd have to go with the father-daughter moment. That was uniquely special. Seeing the father's reaction to seeing his daughter in the wedding dress for the first time is unlike any other. It's a really emotional and special moment that we were able to capture on video and something that the bride cherishes to this day. That's something she can look back on with her dad and be like, I mean, that's a big deal for a father-daughter relationship. So, to be able to capture that on film is really, really special.
That's great. That's awesome. I love that. What else do you want couples to know about videography and how to choose a videographer that's right for you?
It's absolutely 100% worth spending the money. A lot of couples think photo first and then video is kind of secondary. I think it should be the opposite way. I think
Mhm.
video should be first because that's something you're going to be able to replay time and time again. I mean, I think someone that listens to your love story, like the first question I ask my couples is, tell me how you guys met. Tell me the first moment that you knew that your bride was the one. And those are my first two questions I ask before I ask anything else on a call. And I do that because I want to get to know them and their relationship on a deeper level so I can tell a more impactful and powerful story. And I want to use those moments. I want to look for those moments at the wedding so I can tell a story. I'm looking for ways to build a story. And whether that's vows or letters that they write to each other or the father-daughter moment, those are moments that I'm like, okay, yes, I'm using this 100% to tell this story. And it's just amazing.
It's important for them to feel a connection with you and then also to know that the videographer is listening and really
Yeah.
cares about the couple as opposed to just shooting some content.
Right, right. I put the time and effort into it that many others just don't. And
That's
that
great.
gives me the creativity and the inspiration of how best to tell their love story in a single
Yeah.
video.
Awesome. So I don't know if all of our couples that are listening to this know about how much a videographer costs. Maybe they think it's much more than it needs to be. And, so what would you say that average range is? And what I guess the other piece is if you can't afford to do, the full wedding, can you do blocks or can you chunk it up or, that kind of thing? How can you manage that, fit your budget?
I offer three different packages starting at 2,500 and going up to 4,500. The way I explain it is if you choose the middle or the top package, I'm going to be able to tell a more complete story. If you choose the smallest one, yes, I can film a wedding by myself, but it's monumentally difficult to do. It helps to have that second set of camera or eyes, if you
Um,
will,
okay, so the
um,
top two, you get a second shooter.
to capture the moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will just like, yes, I want video, but I just don't want to pay too much for it. Our budget is somewhat limited. And that's okay. That does happen, and that's why I have that package available. And it is entirely possible to film a wedding on my own. I would just say, let's get another set of eyes in there, tell a more complete and impactful story.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. And then um, I think that basically what we're trying to tell people is that this is something that's just as important as, selecting your venue, selecting your photographer, selecting your dress, your what you're going to serve at your wedding. Videography needs to be something that's included in that because it really will have the most complete picture of all that you invested in and being able to see like your friends and when they're dancing and having a good time, or maybe you'll see those moments during the wedding, especially if you have a second shooter. I'm guessing that you can capture not only what is happening during the ceremony, but the reaction of the crowd
Oh yeah.
as they're seeing you,
Well,
exchange
like
vows.
let me give you an example. If I had a second shooter and the best man was giving his speech, I would want to get the reaction of number one, the bride and her friends, her bridesmaids, and having more sets of cameras is absolutely helpful in that matter. I can get moments that I otherwise wouldn't be able to capture in a professional and high quality way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I think that that is a good reason why people think, yeah, one shooter's enough. At least and that they're right. At least you have that recording of the wedding in real time where you're actually hearing, seeing
Yeah.
all of the expressions. So yes, if only one is within your budget, then by all means do that. Don't feel like, well, if I can't do it all, it's not worth it.
Right.
But the advantage for the upper end packages is that you do have that second shooter. So you're getting not only what's happening between the bride and groom, but everything
Right.
that's going on around them as well,
Just
which
when I have
which as
that
the bride and groom, you
small
don't see that,
package,
right?
right?
As a
When
couple.
somebody chooses the smallest package, what I kind of have to do is, and I kind of have to make difficult choices of where I need
Yeah.
to be
Yes.
and when I need to
Yeah.
be, because it's hard to be everywhere at once.
Yeah. That
Um,
makes sense. That makes total sense. So I get it.
like
I
just
understand
having that,
why that's valuable.
yeah, and I need to be able to pay that person.
Right. Of course. Of course, there's more cost in that. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's more, not only that, but there's more video to go through in the end when you're editing and
Yeah,
creating the
yeah,
final video.
absolutely.
So yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. Well, what else? Have we missed something that you think is important for our couples to understand?
I think it's time we give video some love. And I know it's on the rise, but it's still one in three brides. And that's astounding to me that
Yep.
two out of three brides don't get a wedding videographer. So they're not able to relive those special moments. I have a tremendous respect for photographers and what they're able to do with their work, but to me, they only tell a fraction of the story, if that.
Yeah.
And it's just
Well,
not enough. Like if I'm a bride, I want every minute of that day covered.
yeah, that's great. Do you, one question I didn't think of, do you provide raw footage as is that part of your package or is that,
It's part of my largest package, and then it's also available
okay,
for sale separately.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I was thinking about that. I love the finished product, of course, but if you could get that raw footage too, because then maybe there's something that they see that they
Right,
was
and
special to them.
there's a bit of a saying in the film industry in general. When you see your favorite TV shows like Game of Thrones or Outlander or whatever it was, a lot of what gets filmed ends up getting cut. And
Yeah,
I think it's 90% of what gets filmed ends up getting cut. And why is that? And the answer is quite simply only the best of the best makes the final cut. So yes,
yeah,
there is, a lot of things that you have to end up cutting, even though you film it, but it's worth, telling that story.
yeah. I think that's great. That's a good reason why. Another reason why maybe adding the top packages because you're going to see a story that unfolds and what through your eyes. But there may be some footage that you captured during the day that would be important for the couple to see. And, they might not want that to share with everyone, but they might want it to go back sometime and look at. So that's interesting.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. Okay, well, you and me both feel like videography is worth the investment,
Yeah.
and hopefully, this gives a glimpse to our couples why they should consider including that in their investment, their wedding investment. And I hope that I hope it was helpful.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
come see us at Willow Sky Ranch and with John Lofquist Films, and we'll hook you up and make your wedding day as special as it can be.
Absolutely. It's amazingly stunning that venue. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You done well.
Well, I look forward to working with you more and
Yeah.
helping our couples achieve what their goal is.
All right. Thanks, Jennifer.
You're welcome.